This is my finished photo from a quick landscape that I'd capture and wandering around. However, this is where I started. Now, I could have taken some time and got a little bit better capture while I was doing it. That's probably preferable. But quite often with a DSLR, it seems that it wants to capture detail and give you a fairly light image. At least it did for me that day. So, how did I get to that point? A little bit more dramatic. Well, first thing I wanted to think of was, what is it that captured me about this scene? And to me it was, let's pull up the hand, it was this log right here and the fact that there's a nice S-curve coming around here. That's what I wanted to play up. That's what had captured me at the moment. What I found with this image was I see a lot of blown out grass and hazy trees. That's what I wanted. So what I started with was vibrance. So I just added just a little bit, 15 and 14. Don't want to get lurid, but I did want to pump it up a little bit. Then I wanted to add curves. Now, I start with the shadows, and if you hold down Alt or Option, depending on your computer, and click on this arrow, you can see where it starts to block up. So I just like to get just a little bit of that shadow detail to go black. Brought down, actually I'd started with bringing down the highlights a little bit, upper 3/4 tone. Then I open up the shadows just a bit. And that took me most of the way there. So let's close that. Then I wanted to do some burning and dodging, and my first burn dodge layer was actually a multiply layer, which is just everything up to that point set to multiply. So I'll show you how I do that. And on a Mac, it's Command Option Shift E, and that gives you everything that had been done up to that point. On a PC, I imagine it's Control Alt Shift, but you'd have to check that. But I've already done it, so let's pull up the one that I did. Actually, no, let's bring that back in. I'll show you the other trick. Now you can create a masking layer by hitting this little guy down here. But if you hold down Option or Alt and click it, it goes black and turns itself off. So then we set it to multiply. Make sure that our mask is selected. Get a brush, make sure it's on white. Set it to 100% so you can see what it does. Now I'd go to 10%, which if you hit 1 on your keyboard, sets at 10%. And you can start painting in. If that's not fast enough, try 2 or 3, which is 20 or 30%. And then just darken down all the areas that we're finding too bright. Like I say, I've already done that. Now, next thing I wanted to do, I find this works really nicely, is add a vignette, which is basically another multiply layer. Again, Command Option Shift E, and then adding a mask with a big black dot in it. Oops. Sorry about that momentary distraction. Anyways, big black dot set to multiply, backed off just a little bit, and finally a burn and dodge layer. And that's to really bring out that direction. Now, how do I create a burn and dodge layer? Well, create a new layer, fill it with 50% gray, set that to overlay, and then with a brush selected, white makes things lighter. And black, if you just hit X, makes things darker. But like I said, I've already gone through all that. This is what I created. So now we've got more attention brought to the stream and here, and less to the sides and the grass. Now the next step was that I took it into a program called Aurora, which is an HDR program. And obviously this isn't an HDR, but it does allow you to manipulate it a little bit. And what I wanted was more detail in the water. So it's not much, it's very subtle. But I like how it just brings out that ripple a little bit and also makes everything look just that little bit crisper. But I don't want it full on strength because that's maybe just a little too much for this image. So I backed it off a little bit. And that's how I created that image. Thanks for watching.